How's it going, everybody? Winter Kills here. Welcome to a brand new episode of the top replays and highlights series. You guys know what this series is all about. We're taking a look at some of the best replays from my recent streams and some submitted replays from my glorious Twitch subscribers. And if you guys haven't looked already, there should be some pretty funny Twitch clips down in the description below, so I highly recommend you guys check those out as well. And of course, before we go any further, I want to mention a quick shout out to Imperium Duelist, the lovely sponsor of this channel. If you guys are interested in picking up some sleeves, playmats, deck boxes, dice, they got brand new stickers as well. Check them out down in the link below. And use that discount code WinterKills10 off. It should be on the screen. WinterKills10 off to save 10% off your entire order. Helps you guys save a little money. Helps me out in the process. And of course, if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, the affiliate link down in the description below. I say it all the time. Check it out. Use it if you'd like to help support the channel. And of course, lastly, consider hitting the join button to become a member of the channel to get in on some exclusive perks and rewards, behind the scenes, and bloopers, and outtakes. And if you want to be that generous, dedicated spot for your name in the end of all my videos. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and get into this episode. Alright, so this first replay here is titled Decent Game v Orcust, and it is a pretty decent game. And I will end up going first against my will, but as you can see, he's got some pretty potent going second cards, so it will matter greatly what I put up against him to not lose greatly. And also, let me turn off quick animations before I literally cannot keep up with what's going on at all. So getting back to it, he's going to go for the evenly match. I opt to keep the urgent schedule, and that's all he's going to be able to do for his turn there. Really not much else. I'm going to start with a heavy forward into the Harvester, tributing that off for Dozer. You guys have seen this before. Not going for the Trencher this time around, but going for the Drag Shovel. Summoning out Bullet to go into the double-headed Anger Knuckle, bringing back, the Bullet Train, using Anchor Drill to revive Knight, sending off that Goliath for River Stormer, and then reattaching it using its effect, changing the battle position, and swinging in with everything I got, which is just shy of game here. Main phase 2, we're going to use that effect of the number 81 to detach the Bullet Train. More importantly, so basically the interaction you guys are seeing right now can take place, adding back Ruffian, so I have that discard outlet for my Anger Knuckle during the next turn, which, as you can see, is going to be Ruffian Railcar to revive a level 10, of course, on the activation of this Lightning Storm. And of course, I'm going to protect my River Stormer here, and that's going to come out in defense position. So now if he clears the Bullet Train, not only will I be getting the add-back effect from the Ruffian that I discarded, I'll also be getting the add-back effect from the Bullet Train itself. So now he's actually starting to make plays now, thanks to Girsu going all the way into Boral Sword very easily, using World Wand to get back out Nightmare, and Symbol Skeleton to bring out Girsu to go into Galatea, none other than, and then of course going into the Orchestrated Babble off of the Galatea, and then sending off the Bullet Train like I want him to with that Dingirsu. Not really afraid of getting OTK here because I do have Urgent Schedule, and would have been, in a pretty bad spot otherwise, but luckily coming in very clutch here. And you can see now the add back effects coming in so clutch. He does have Climax though with a live field spell with the Nightmare Engrave, so that obviously that can dump Symbol, which makes the Dingirsu live. So a couple interruptions I got to worry about playing through. Top decking the Pot of Avarice, such a welcomed card to see here. And basically I know what cards he has. I just got to play through the interruptions as best I can. So trying out Trencher to go for Harvester. He's going to use that Nightmare to get Symbol and also Recycle to go ahead and grab Return. It's going to bring out Harvester. Going to link off that Harvester for River Stormer and then reattach it to the River Stormer to try to get a search here. And that's going to get me the Bullet Train. Now going for Dozer to go for Anchor Drill to link that off into Cliffort Genius to attempt to turn off the field spell. And he's going to acquit out right there, because next thing I can do is Bullet Train and then Derek Rain. Pop. Attack directly. He only has 800. The game is going to be over pretty easily. Cliffort Genius is such a fantastic card though right here. Simply doing the job I needed to do, which is going to force out the Symbol Skeleton for Dingirsu. And then you guys know what happens from there. It's going to be game aplenty. So that's it for that replay. We're going to go ahead and jump into the next replay here, which actually got the replays written down. so I don't really need to make too many cuts now in post. But as you can see, this replay was just titled Game. Now, this is funny. Not really. This isn't really too impressive, but this is just. I thought it was pretty funny, strictly for the fact is, oh, everybody knows the Dragoon of Red Eye's hype is coming. We know Dragoon is coming in the tins, all that stuff. But this is just. It kind of reminds me of Firewall Pass. Don't let the hyped up cards deceive you too much, because if you rely on them too much, something like this might happen to you. As you can see, obviously this isn't always the end result. Dragoon can be added to some very powerful fields, but this is just funny. As he negates my field spell, we go right into Gustav Mac, burn for 2k, and then just go into the battle phase, and that's game right there. It's just game. We don't even care. It's just game. That's all we really need to do. I thought that was just funny. It reminded me of Firewall Pass. Sometimes these big, powerful monsters aren't really all they're, cracked up to be, especially when they're on their own. So this next one is titled Oof, 2 for 1, and it's titled 2 for 1 for a good reason. This actually happened on my most recent stream on Monday, I believe. But this one was pretty funny, or maybe Sunday. But this one was literally the definition of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And I'll show you exactly what I mean as I'm playing Photon Galaxy here, a deck that I think a lot of people still don't fully realize the potential of this deck. It's such a fantastic deck. It's such a great deck. It just has a little some pricey cards to it that make it a little unobtainable for some people, but still a great deck nonetheless. As you can see, going for the Galaxy Knight play now, and then the Expedition bringing out Afterglow, a welcomed addition to the deck. Going for Falgran, even in breaking boards, this Falgran Afterglow combo is still very useful. I bait out one of his monsters, go into number 90. Now, I could have gone into number 62 here for a game, but I just didn't. I guess you could arguably say that I'm playing with my food at this point. And it's good that I didn't go for game, because it allows, us to see this 2 for 1 deal that we're going to get thanks to the Tachyon Transmigration. If you know what Transmigration does, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But either way, we don't have Soul Flare, so I'm not going to add Galaxy Eyes. I'm just going to add Photon Sanctuary. And here's where the fun sort of starts to happen. I Cosmic Cyclone off here, one of his cards, the Thundery Canvas. Cosmic being a very good side deck card here in this particular situation. And now he's going to start chaining all of his stuff. Chainlink 1 here, Rainbowy Canvas, and Thundery Canvas. And then when you start to build those chainlinks against a Photon Galaxy deck, you got to be careful, because of Tachyon Transmigration. Ladies and gentlemen, it says if you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, negate the activations of your opponent's spell/trap cards and monster effects activated before this card in this chain. If you do, shuffle the negated cards on the field into the deck. So, what has he done here? He's created a chainlink of his own cards. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3. Tachyon is going to negate both of these cards prior to the chain, and not only negate them, but put them back into the deck. Bye-bye later. And he's going to try to use his Weathery monster in the banishment zone. Number 90 says otherwise, and that is game plenty right then and there. Now, this next combo is called Infinitrack Destruction. And this one is a pretty nice replay, mainly because, again, we're playing against a pretty meta-relevant deck here, with a bit of an indecisive, inconclusive ending, I guess I should say, and I'll let you guys be the deciding factor here, whether or not this game could have ended 100% in my favor or not. But again, playing against a very prevalent and upcoming meta deck, Mech Knight Orchist, especially thanks to Girsu, more notably. Girsu really allowing for a lot. I clear Foolish Burial here. Really don't have much of a choice in when I want to use this Derek Rain. But, he puts a set card there for, to be vulnerable anyway, so I might as well clear it. And as you can see here, the summoning capabilities of Trains on the opponent's turn, thanks to the Anger Knuckle field spell combination. I talk about it all the time. It's such a powerful play. I get this huge wall of defense, and 2 cards if are cleared, I get to add back in the end phase. But my man is going to clear the board, but not in a way where I'll be able to get anything back here. There's the topological Zeraboros going for the Sky Slasher and clearing everything but the number 81. So I'm in an okay spot right now, but the biggest fear I have is this thing is at 6,200, and all it's going to take is a battle phase here to clear it. Now I quickly use the Ash and the purple and chain the door to detach the bullet train because I desperately need that add back effect because I know the battle phase is coming soon, and with it, the destruction of my number 81. So he's going to dump that symbol. Symbol's going to revive Galatea, go into Dingirsu. Luckily, he can't send off my super door or would be game. So that effect protecting me there and giving me another turn. And he's going to return that off to draw 2 more cards into Lightning Storm and Rhoda. Now, this is where it gets to be crunch time. My opponent is drawing a Dark Lure no more for turn. I'm drawing an Ash. Well, once the deck is shuffled, I think my next draw for the following turn ends up being Ash Blossom. But I need to win this turn, as you can see, because he does have blue in hand. He has, you know, Rhoda, which I don't think he has any targets left in the deck. So the Rhoda is sort of a null factor right now. If he was playing Dark Grepher, I'd be a little bit more concerned, but no Grepher to be found in this deck. The graveyard, as you can see, he does have symbol Dingirsu rather. So that is a live play for next turn. So it ends up coming down like I need to OTK right now. This is what needs to happen. Because unfortunately my opponent does lose connection. Losing connection maybe because he feels as though he didn't have a comeback and he just quit out, or, you know, genuinely lost connection, as it can happen. So I start my turn with a Rail Stampede that I was luckily able to add back off of that bullet train the previous turn, and drawing Dozer was a really good top deck. Gets me into Drag Shuffle, which gets me into, importantly, River Stormer, which is going to add bullet train. Now, if I would have had a way here to get to the Anchor Drill, not the Anchor Drill, but the, I guess Anchor Drill would be very helpful here, but also get a way to get to the Earth Slicer, because Earth Slicer would clear both of these cards, allowing me to push for more damage. But I don't think I had a way that I was able to do it. You can see my current graveyard setup, my current, you know, cards banished. I still have an Anchor Drill left in deck, but this is sort of what I'm left with here. Going to use the modulation effect of the Stampede. Going to go into this with the Derek Crane and burn for 2k. Clear away the card I have to clear, and you can see he's going to lose connection there, unfortunately. But my only other option at this point is to link into the Goliath and, you know, go into Juggernaut Leap, go up to 4k, because if I go up to 6, you know, it'll be the only monster that can attack. And I don't think I had a way to get into Clops with this particular board. There might be some shenanigans I could have done with the Anger Knuckle here to maybe make a play. I do have a spin turn, though. Importantly enough, I feel like that does add something, because this is getting cleared hands down. You know, he's not going to use the banish effect, because if he does, he'll just lose outright. So he'll take, you know, if I go into the Juggernaut Leap, and maybe I'm diving too far into this, but hey, I just want to point this out. He takes 15, then 25, and then 1,000 from the Goliath. So I leave him with 1,000, but he does have a purple, a blue. He has a Lightning Storm, which, you know, I don't know how this would have played out. I don't know if there's a way I particularly could have, you know, had a definite win here, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, we don't get to see the fully how that whole thing plays out. But the next few replays here are some user submitted replays from some of my Twitch subs. This one first here, I'll show you guys. This is the Infernoble deck. My good friend and Twitch subscriber Eros here showing off what this deck is capable of against a Dino player. Really going to show off how powerful this deck is with the Ignite engine in it, as you know, of all things. It has so many ways to get to this card, the X-Paladin into the Squeak Knight. This is basically your one card, you know, what is it? What is the card called? I'm completely blanking out here. The I sold, the one card he sold, and I'll be showing you guys the profile for this at the end, but one card is sold here, and you have so many ways to search it with all the Ignite cards, because Ignite cards search it. And as you can see here, Smoke Grenade of the Thief, that card will come in very clutch later, because this is a bit of a hand loop version. Yes, you probably were wondering, how the hell does this deck hand loop? Well, don't worry. You'll see here in just a moment. He's going to go into Needle Fiber, and of course it's going to bring out O-Line into the Martial Metal Marcher. You know, a little bit of a Speedroid tech sort of use here, and with the Needle Fiber plays going into Roland. I don't know too much about all these Ignite cards do, but all I know is I see some very broken plays happening here. Now he's going to use the discard effect of Smoke Grenade of the Thief. Basically says, when this equips spell card is active and is destroyed by a card effect, look at your opponent's hand, select one card from their hand, and discard it to the graveyard. So he was able to destroy it alongside, I believe, the Aurora Down effect, or one other effect. but able to resolve the effect here nonetheless. And discarding a Dark Ruler no more out of his hand. That's a pretty good hit here. Going into the Emperor Charles. I love that name. And then, you know, using the Ignites to search out Gearfried, and also getting a Dweller in the process. It's just absolutely insane. Equipping this card again here, you know, to be able to take out another card out of his hand. Taking out a Lightning Storm. It's absolutely insane. If this deck were, I think, like TCG legal right now, I think it'd have a pretty good chance at being meta. You know, the consistency definitely seems there. The Ignite cards are such powerful searchers, and you can play so many of them. Because they all, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Ignites you see, they all search whatever you need. They all just add a Fire Warrior type monster. It adds you Squeak Knight, it adds you, or not Squeak Knight, the guy that summoned the Squeak Knight, you know, adds Gearfried, adds all of your Ignoble Knights, Infernoble Knights. It's just insane, and ends on, you know, discarding 2 cards out of your opponent's hand, and not even at random. You get to choose these ones. It's actually insane. Now this next replay here is, again, it's a bit of the same deck. This is a slightly different build. This one isn't so focused on hand looping. More of a standard Infernoble Ignite deck here. And I'll be showing both variants at the end. Again, using Rhoda this time around to get access to the X-Paladin going into the Isolde. And then you can see the combo going to sort of play out here. A little bit different, using some Goki cards alongside of the Ignites and the Infernoble Knights against what looks to be a Machina deck. Does have a copy of Evenly Matched in the hand, so it'll be interesting to see how this is sort of going to play out. Does have Appaloosa already secured at this point, which is really nice. A lot of the points in this combo can even be protected too, which is pretty insane. Dweller, Link Karibo adding that God Gearfried, which is such a powerful card at the end of the day. And then the equip effect of Charles, you know, coming in very, very clutch. There's the battle phase. Evenly matched as you might expect. You're going to wipe everything off the field pretty much except the Gearfried, which is all you need, because the Gearfried is a very, very powerful boss monster in of its own right. Who knows when we're getting this card, but it's an insane card. Draws the Templar for turn. Going to go to the battle phase to run over the Gear Frame, take the Fortress in the process if this card didn't do enough already. It's like a Snatch Steal. In of its own right. Draws the Urgent Schedule for turn here. It could be pretty clutch for later, using Citadel in the graveyard when one of your cards is destroyed. And then the Gearfried, though, will be able to negate, because this card also offers an interruption on top of just being an all-around insane boss monster. The Pendulum Summon mechanic here just proving to be inherently really good. Not only do you get to use the searching abilities of all the Ignites, but they're all Pendulum monsters, so you get to take advantage of that as well. Isolde getting hit with a Call by the Grave, but still able to get to Gearfried, which is all he needs. Negating the effects in the graveyard and swinging in with as much damage as he can, providing another negate for next turn. He draws Scrap Recycler, and I believe he does Scoop there. So yeah, this deck is pretty impressive, I've got to say. I can only imagine what it would look like if it were in the meta right now. And the last replay for this video is Mech Knights versus Prank Kids. This is Larry's Larry Sama. You guys have seen him on this replay series quite a few times, I imagine. But this is his, I don't know if this is his current list. He's always changing it, always making changes, some good, some bad. So we're going to get into the replay here, and I'm not even going to pretend like I know what is going on with any of these Prank Kids cards. All I know is he's going to be doing a lot of things, and it's going to take a lot of time, and this deck does like to go into time. I played against this deck a little while back at a locals, like one of the last locals, you know, I was able to go to before everything went down, so to speak. Did go into time, lost in time to Prank Kids. Was really excited about that. You know, I'm playing Block Dragon BA. You think that I might be causing myself to go into time with all the comboing. No. That's not how it went. And there's going to be a similar interaction here that I had to undergo that was very frustrating to deal with, especially when you're in time. So as you can see, we have Shadal, we have Mech Knight, we have World Legacy, just a whole bunch of things going on here. And he's using Aerial and Beast now to go for Apkalone. You know, I'm going to try to banish some cards in the graveyard, which is actually not too bad against Prank Kids. Moving a lot of those key pieces in the grave could prove to be pretty useful. But he's able to turn off the Appaloosa here, which is very, very important. And then bringing out, he's just still continuing to play on his opponent's turn. Then normaling the Gear Suit, sending off that World Legacy World Chalice, discarding the Mind Meld, setting the Dos Ex Crawler directly from the deck and adding back Shaddoll Fusion, or adding a Shaddoll Fusion, summoning purple. Purple will banish itself for blue. Blue's going to go ahead and grab 2 since he's got a column to do so. Linking in for Lib now to go grab World Legacy Pawns, which will be able to flip up Dos Ex Crawler to be able to act as like a permanent skill drain. And then going in for Borrelsword. Now he's using Prankid's Plan Engrave, which is the most frustrating card ever. But luckily Borrelsword is still able to get over it. And that was the interaction I was talking about with Sword into Plan. It was just so infuriating to deal with. But either way, continuing on here, this is where the Pawns is going to come in clutch. And also using Secret here. This is an important interaction. Even if the monster your opponent is using, like, tributes itself for cost, the effect still activates and it resolves on the field. So even if that card is no longer face up on the field, it still has to resolve on the field. It doesn't resolve in a different place than it activated. So long as you were able to, in this case, summon that Mech Knight into that same column that card originally tried to activate and resolve in, fact will get negated. So Roarin' Roaster will get negated by the Secret here. And he also has Whispers as well, so be able to turn off spells, which is very good. Goes into Totally Awesome, but this is where he's going to flip up the Whispers, move over the Indigo to negate that, and of course the Toad is negated because of the Dos Ex Crawler continuous like effect. So yeah, Mech Orchist, or Mech Shaddoll World Legacy taking the game right there. And the last replay of the video I'm going to show you guys is titled Tasty Gren. A little bit more Photon Galaxy here to round out this video. Trading coming in very clutch here. Brave hitting the board, going for Knight, using Union Carrier to equip to go grab Orbital to grab Afterglow. And we're going to set up the double rank 8 play here, as you might have expected. Summoning out Galaxy Eyes from deck, going for number 90, setting that Transmigration, and ending our turn there. Now, searching Trance off of the number 90 is a nice follow-up for next turn. He's going to go ahead and use Trade-in, Pot of Desires. We're going to negate the Thunderbird because, well, don't want him to pop that Transmigration. And luckily, I'm able to negate one Lightning Storm, but not both, unfortunately. Luckily, my number 90 is in defense mode, usually by default. He tries to use Hextrude. Or, no, not even use Hextrude. I think you use Bigfoot here, or even Hextrude, or whatever card that tries to destroy Photon Lord. But I mean, if there's a Photon card underneath it, most people don't read this. I don't know if it happens in this particular video, but somebody tried like 3 times in a row to destroy a Photon Lord with the Photon monster underneath it as material, and I don't know what was going through the head. They just forgot to read. Some Yu-Gi-Oh players, I mean, most probably do forget to read. Goes into Dong Girsu. He's going to send off number 90 once and for all. Sets a Super Poly and passes it over to me. We start with that Pot of Avarice coming in so clutch. In my opinion, much better than Galaxy Cleric because it does not burn my normal summon. But I digress. Going for Trance now. So clutch to get out 2 level 8s into the board so easily. But there's the Super Poly. But do I care too much? No, not really, because we're going to be able to go into Sulfur to add back Afterglow. Play that Photon Sanctuary one more time because it's not a once per turn. Expedition out for Knight, summon out the Afterglow, and special summon the Galaxy Eyes via its own effect. You know, attributing 2 monsters with 2,000 or more attack to special summon at the board. Going for number 62, and importantly, number 38. Because this Castle of Stromberg has an effect that's basically like a mirror force if you attack. So I need to have the negate for it. So luckily number 32 coming in clutch. And we're going to be able to run over a lot of his monsters for a lot of damage. And clear the remaining cards here. Even if I do have to pop this Dingirsu several times, we're getting it off the field. He top stacks Pot of Desires. Really hope he doesn't draw a Gren here, but I'm not going to let him because we've got number 38, Hope Harbinger. It would have been really hilarious if I didn't have the negate there and he would have drawn, you know, the Gren Maju, and of course that would have been, you know, game right then and there. But one last little replay I'll squeeze in here. Actually, I just got reminded by the title of the replay. This combo sucks. Don't try it. This isn't actually versus the game. This is just a raw test hand from DJ from my Twitch. Yeah, this ends up actually being a pretty cool end board, a very powerful end board, but taking a lot of cards in the process. So Needle Fiber, Dragite already established, going for Megalo here, adding another copy of itself, ditching Infantry and Gund, I believe. Yeah, so gonna revive, or Princeton Gun, going for a quick rank 4 into Toad, adding Deep Sea Diva for what looks to be next turn. Going into Anemone to bring now back the launcher, get itself into Alacia, all that good stuff, and also going into VFD. So you have Draga, you have VFD, you have Toad, you have Alacia with an infantry in hand, and the Mizuchi equipped. That is a pretty solid board. You have 1 interruption here, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 interruptions. 5 interruptions there. The only thing that could have made it better was a Moulin Glacia in the process. So yeah, that is going to do it for this video. Now we'll go into the deck profiles, the deck lists. First of all, here is the Infernoble hand loop version. And it is a bit different than the standard Infernoble deck, which I do have here. As you can see, there is some slight variations. Infernoble standard, Infernoble hand loop, more so differentiations in the extra deck as well. So those are those 2 lists there. Again, pause the video if you guys want to get a more detailed look. Here is the World Legacy Mech Shadal build that you guys saw as well. Quite a few engines working in there. My current Photon Galaxy list, for those that are wondering, with Afterglow Dragon. My current rank 10 Infinitrack list as well. You guys saw this in some of those replays. And I believe that is it. Almost forgot, here is the Mermail list from that last little combo slash replay we saw. There you go. So yeah, figured I'd throw that in because I almost forgot. I believe those are all the decks I needed to show. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, do not forget to check out the Twitch clips down in the description below. Yeah, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. As always, WinnerKill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.